Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host on Around the Horn, Ray Flowers. Yes, I'm back from DC. Yes, I'm back from St. Louis, and unfortunately, you now have to look at my face once again. Wonderful trip visiting everyone back east, especially the SiriusXM crew. Want to say thanks, hello, appreciate it all the time, guys. Let's start out with a couple of injured players. Albert Pujols was hit by a pitch last night. He's going to play through the injury despite taking the pitch off his hand. Very good news, of course, for Pujols, who's just back out on the field. Last 2 weeks, he's been hitting .300 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. And through all the disappointment, through all the injuries, it's amazing to think that Albert Pujols is still on pace to hit 35 home runs, to knock in 96 runs, and to score 101 times. Pretty good effort for a guy who most people have judged to have had a pretty horrible season. Troy Tulowitzki is another injured player. He hurt his pinky last night, apparently on the throw. He will also play through that injury on Wednesday. Very good news for his owners. Tulowitzki looks to be rounding into form, doing what he has done the past couple of seasons, and that is finish the year on a high note. He's hitting .360 with 3 home runs and 16 RBIs the last 3 weeks. He's going well for the Rockies. Strasburg is the big name in the news. Everyone's interested to see him. He's being picked up in leagues all over the place if he's a free agent. Good news here is he'll probably take the hill on Sunday for his first minor league outing. He'll progress from there. The hope is he'll return in late August or early September into that Nationals rotation, basically taking the spot of Jordan Zimmerman as being shut down. I would caution you, though, not to expect too much from Strasburg this year, and in fact, you might want to keep things in check for next year as well. We talked to Steve Phillips yesterday on the drive on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, and he reiterated what a lot of other baseball people say, and that is there's a flaw in Strasburg's delivery. Because of that flaw, he's always going to be susceptible to injury, so the Nationals are probably going to have to be very careful with how he's used. Look at Zimmerman this year and his return from Tommy John surgery with that 160 innings pitch limit to be the limit that you get from Strasburg next year. Keep that in mind if you're holding on to him. He's not going to make 30-plus starts next year unless something really odd happens. Jason Heyward, well, he's back out on the field. Well, he's not on the field. He's healthy apparently, but he's still not producing. This will be the second straight day he's out of the lineup on Wednesday for the Braves. He just can't get it going. The guy's hitting .224 in the year. He's hitting .214 since the All-Star break. His OPS was .849 last year. It's down to .713 this season. We might have to write this season off as just one of those seasons. I still tell people all the time, Jason Heyward has Hall of Fame talent. Don't sleep on him next year in drafts, even if he finishes this year poorly. And if you can get him at a cheap price in a deal, I would recommend doing that if you're in a keeper league. Paul Goldschmidt, big bat, huge excitement for the Diamondbacks. They had Brandon Allen, they moved Brandon Allen to the A's. First base is now Goldschmidt's job. He had his first home run of his big league career yesterday off Tim Lincecum. Obviously a good start to his career. This is a player the last 2 seasons at both AA and AAA has hit over .300. He had 35 home runs down in the minors, 30 this year. Huge bat. Keeper leaguers obviously all over this guy. But don't go all in if you're in a mixed league. If you're like in a 12 or 15 team mixed league right now, remember first base is the deepest position out there. The chance of him making an impact the rest of the way, a substantial one, is pretty small. Don't forget what happened to Anthony Rizzo with the Padres. Wonderful value in Goldschmidt long term. Keep those expectations in check for the remainder of the 2011 season. Yunieksy Bentancourt, why am I mentioning Yunieksy Bentancourt? Since the All-Star break, folks, he's actually done very well. He's hitting .355, he's got a couple of home runs, 13 RBIs. You're on the waiver wire looking for someone to help you up the middle. I know it sounds odd, but Yunieksy Bentancourt might be the name you want to add to your squad. And then finally, Mike Tomlin continues to do a little bit of everything. Maybe he doesn't do anything that great, except for give you a good whip, actually. His whip's in the top 10 in baseball, if you can believe that. But he's also got a streak of 34 consecutive starts to begin his big league career that he's lasted at least 6 innings. We made all the big deal about, Brett Myers having a long run last year. Think about that. 34 straight starts to begin his career for Josh Tomlin. Does that seem like a lot? It should seem like a lot. The last time a pitcher started his career with a longer streak, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, it was barely in the 20th century. 1903 to 1904, over 100 years ago. George Winter had a 51-game streak like that to start his career. Pretty amazing for Josh Tomlin. Give the guy some credit for what he's done. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. Talk to you all again soon.